This audiobook unveils the forbidden 33rd degree knowledge once guarded by the ancient keepers of truth. As you listen, you'll discover the hidden mechanisms of thought and frequency, the whisper behind all things that shapes your reality with silent precision. If you came seeking the secrets once considered forbidden, you are already standing at the threshold of your awakening. Forbidden 33rd degree knowledge. Introduction. Deep within the silent chambers of your being rests a truth so ancient, so luminous, that most pass through an entire lifetime without ever touching it. You are not a witness to the universe, but the universe in motion. What you are about to encounter are the teachings once whispered only to those prepared to wield their transformative power. Teachings that now rise from forgotten ages to meet the readiness of your soul. The law of attraction, in its uncorrupted essence, reaches far beyond desire, wish, or will. It reveals a reality in which you stand as both architect and architecture, dream weaver and the very dream itself. Nothing in these chapters was ever truly forbidden. It simply awaited the moment when you were ready to bear the full magnitude of your creative heritage. As you move through this work, you will discover that the greatest forces of manifestation do not reside in rituals or techniques, but in the delicate currents of your inner frequency. Every thought you allow, every feeling you cultivate, sends subtle ripples into the unseen realms, shaping the visible world with an accuracy far greater than your senses perceive. The ancient initiates spoke of this as the great secret, not out of secrecy, but because its simplicity defied the understanding of minds unprepared to grasp it. You are a living beacon of vibration, continuously summoning into form the truth you hold within. Your beliefs are not idle ideas, they are potent forces, sculpting the substance of your reality. Within these 30 chapters lie the keys to remembering what you have always been, a conscious creator. What you will encounter here is not theory, but living wisdom, wisdom that moves you from knowledge to embodiment. Each revelation builds upon the last, weaving a path back to the heart of your own power. This is not learning. This is remembering. Remembering that the law of attraction is not a tool you wield. It is the very essence of your existence awakening within you. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Hidden Mechanisms of Thought and Frequency. Chapter 1. The Whisper Behind All Things. In a seaside village where waves whispered ancient secrets to the shore, Lila tended her small flower shop. Each morning, as she arranged blossoms, she noticed an extraordinary pattern. Flowers seemed to respond not to her gentle hands, but to the quiet melody of her thoughts. When her mind sang with joy, the blooms appeared more vibrant. When worry clouded her thoughts, the petals would close ever so slightly, as if sensing her discord. Through countless dawns and dusks, Lila came to understand that her thoughts weren't merely fleeting visitors in her mind. They were living vibrations that danced through the very fabric of existence, like a crystal goblet that resonates with a specific musical note. Her entire being resonated with the frequency of her deepest beliefs. The universe operates through laws more subtle than those written in scholarly texts. Your thoughts do not originate within the confines of your mind. They flow through you like celestial music through an eternal instrument. When you grasp this truth, You understand that manifestation isn't about forcing desire into reality, but about aligning yourself with the frequency of what already exists in the infinite field of possibility. In another time, in another place, there lived a man named Jasper. His heart carried a wound, a love he dared not express for fear of rejection. Each day, he carefully guarded his feelings, believing this protection would spare him pain. Yet the more he withheld his love, the more his life reflected emptiness. Only when tragedy struck, taking away his chance forever, did he realize that his fear of loss had become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But fate offered Jasper a second chance through an unexpected encounter. This time, he chose differently, letting his heart speak freely without attachment to outcome. To his amazement, the very act of releasing his love into the world began attracting warmth and connection from all directions. Your emotional truth serves as a beacon, calling forth experiences that match its frequency. When you withhold yourself, the universe reflects that contraction. When you release yourself into authentic expression, reality shapes itself to mirror your openness. As the sun sets each day, find a quiet moment. Close your eyes and whisper internally, "I tune myself to the frequency of truth." Watch as each doubt dissolves into golden light, leaving only the pure resonance of your authentic being. Chapter 2: The Language of Light. The universe whispers its truths through every sensation, through each moment of awareness. As you explore these ancient principles, let the story of Maggie guide your understanding of vibration's sacred language. In the heart of an old city, Maggie walked through life experiencing reality in ways others could not comprehend. When church bells rang, she saw waves of purple light, children's laughter painted yellow spirals in the air. Even in moments of silence, her body felt the pulse of existence itself, a rhythm that spoke of life's deeper orchestration. Through Maggie's gift, you glimpse a fundamental truth. Everything in existence is energy and motion. Your thoughts and emotions create ripples in this cosmic sea, speaking a language far more precise than words. When your heart fills with gratitude, you broadcast a frequency that draws similar experiences toward you. When you cultivate joy, you become a beacon for abundance. The brighter your emotional state, the more clearly the universe receives your message. Like a radio seeking perfect reception, your vibration must align with what you wish to attract. This isn't merely about positive thinking. It's about becoming the living embodiment of what you desire to manifest. Consider Clark, whose story reveals another facet of this truth. For years, he carried the weight of past mistakes, each memory a stone in his pocket. His resentment toward himself created a wall between his desires and their fulfillment. No matter how precisely he followed manifestation techniques, his self-judgment generated static in his energetic field. One morning, sitting by a stream, Clark realized that the water didn't judge itself for past currents. It simply flowed. In that moment, he understood. Self-forgiveness wasn't about absolving past actions, but about releasing the energy that kept him bound to old patterns. As you absorb these teachings, recognize that forgiveness, especially of yourself, acts as a reset button for your energetic field. It clears the channel through which abundance flows, dissolving the interference that blocks your natural state of receiving. The universe responds not to your words or actions alone, but to the totality of your energetic signature. When you liberate yourself from self-judgment, you allow your true frequency to shine unobstructed. Practice. The lantern of the heart. As you prepare for sleep each night, settle into a comfortable position. Envision your heart as a crystal lantern, its light pure and unwavering. With each breath, allow this light to grow stronger, filling first your chest, then expanding outward through your entire being. Let this radiance carry the energy of unconditional compassion for others, for yourself, for all of existence. Continue until your awareness expands beyond the boundaries of your physical form, until you perceive only light, only love, only the pure vibration of being. In this state, you align with the highest frequency of manifestation. Chapter 3. Mirrors that Speak. Along the cobblestone streets of an ancient quarter, Vera walked the same path she had traversed countless times before. Each step echoed with a familiar weight, the weight of patterns that seemed destined to repeat. Her relationships always ended in the same way. Her career moves led to identical disappointments, and her dreams felt trapped in an endless loop of almost, but not quite, manifestation. One autumn evening, as she passed a row of shop windows, Vera caught glimpses of her reflection fragmenting across the glass. In that moment, a truth stirred within her soul. These repetitions weren't mere coincidence. They were mirrors, each one perfectly positioned to show her what she had yet to heal within herself. This revelation unveils one of the universe's most potent laws, the mirror law. Everything you encounter in the outer world reflects your inner frequency. The situations that trigger you most intensely are precisely the ones holding the greatest wisdom. They mirror back the exact vibrations you carry within, whether conscious of them or not. When you judge something in your external reality, you're actually encountering a reflection of your own inner state. The critical boss mirrors your self-criticism. The unreliable friend reflects where you've been unreliable with yourself. The financial struggles echo your deeper beliefs about worthiness and abundance. Yet this law holds the key to profound transformation. By understanding that life is your mirror, you gain the power to alter the reflection by shifting your inner landscape. Consider the tale of Eli, a merchant who lived in a bustling marketplace. Each day brought challenges that seemed to conspire against his success: difficult customers, delayed shipments, and endless competition. But Eli discovered an ancient secret. Gratitude could transform any reflection. He began thanking the rudest customers for teaching him patience. He expressed appreciation for delayed shipments that taught him flexibility. He blessed his competitors for inspiring innovation. Within months, his entire experience shifted. The same marketplace that once seemed hostile became a garden of opportunities. The world you see is not happening to you. It's responding to you. Every person, every circumstance, every challenge exists as a reflection of your consciousness. When you resist these reflections, you strengthen the very patterns you wish to change. But when you embrace them with gratitude, you begin to alter the mirror's surface. The most powerful shifts occur when you thank the very experiences you once resented. This act of gratitude doesn't just change your perception. It transforms the frequency you emit into the universe. As your vibration shifts, the mirror of life must reflect this new energy back to you. Practice the gratitude mirror. Each morning, as the sun rises and your consciousness emerges from sleep's embrace, take a moment to list 3 reflections you once resented. These might be recurring situations, challenging relationships, or persistent obstacles. For each one, speak your gratitude aloud. Thank you, reflection, for showing me what I needed to see. I embrace the wisdom you offer. Feel the vibration of these words in your body. Let them dissolve the resistance that once held these patterns in place. As you practice this ritual, watch how life's mirror begins to reflect back a new story, one aligned with your highest frequency of being. Chapter 4. The Undercurrent of Silence. In a tranquil valley between ancient mountains, June spent her days tending to a small meditation sanctuary. While others sought answers through ceaseless activity, she discovered a profound truth in the spaces between moments. Each morning, as the mist rose from the earth, she would sit beneath an old maple tree, allowing her thoughts to settle like leaves upon still water. The universe speaks most clearly in silence. When you quiet the endless chatter of the mind, you tap into the very frequency of creation itself. This silence is not mere absence. It is presence in its purest form, the canvas upon which all manifestation begins to paint itself. Within the quiet depths of contemplation lies a power greater than any spoken word. As your awareness settles into stillness, you begin to sense the subtle currents of universal energy that flow through all things. These currents carry the seeds of creation, waiting to be nurtured by your focused attention. The mind, in its natural state, mirrors the infinite potential of the universe. Yet we often fill this sacred space with mental noise, drowning out the whispers of our highest wisdom. Through practiced stillness, you allow your thoughts to align with the rhythm of universal law, becoming a clear channel for manifestation. In a distant garden, Felix spent decades nurturing plants into extraordinary beauty. One spring morning, he noticed something remarkable. The flowers that received his gentle whispers seemed to bloom more vibrantly than those left in silence. Speaking softly to young seedlings, he watched as they reached toward his voice, growing stronger and more resilient. Felix's discovery reveals a timeless truth. When silence and intentional words dance together, they create a harmony that accelerates manifestation. Like the gardener's tender encouragement, your words carry creative force, but only when they emerge from a foundation of inner quiet. Your thoughts are seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. In silence, these seeds receive the nourishment they need to flourish. When you speak from this place of centered stillness, your words carry the full power of aligned creation. Ancient practice. Find a peaceful space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. For 5 minutes each day, direct your breath into your heart center. Feel each inhale bringing clarity, each exhale carrying away mental static. Allow thoughts to pass like clouds, neither grasping nor rejecting them. In this gentle practice, you'll discover the sacred silence from which all creation springs. Chapter 5. The Covenant of Belief. In a small mountain village, Sadie lived a life shadowed by doubt. Each morning she would gaze at her reflection, questioning her ability to create the life she yearned for. Yet even in her uncertainty, fleeting moments of absolute conviction would sweep through her being, and in those precious instants, the impossible would bend toward possibility. One autumn evening, while tending to her garden, Sadie experienced a moment of pure, unwavering faith. In that brief space of complete trust, a butterfly with wings of gold alighted on her open palm, a species unknown in those mountains. As quickly as her amazement arose, doubt crept back in, and the butterfly took flight. But that glimpse of wonder had planted a seed of understanding. The law of attraction responds not to the intensity of your desire, but to the consistency of your faith. When you trust without requiring proof, you align with the very fabric of creation. Your belief becomes a steady flame, unwavering in the winds of circumstance. This is the hidden mechanism behind all manifestation, the ability to hold faith as naturally as you draw breath. In a workshop at the edge of town, Warren crafted beautiful pieces from raw wood. Many called his work impossible, intricate designs that seemed to defy the material's nature. Yet Warren saw not the limitations others perceived, but the potential waiting to emerge. Day after day, he would work with quiet certainty, believing in forms yet unseen. As his faith remained steady, strange coincidences began to multiply. Perfect pieces of wood would appear just as he needed them. Clients would arrive seeking exactly what he had just completed. The universe seemed to dance in harmony with his unwavering belief. Through Warren's story, you glimpse the profound truth. Persistent faith is the bridge between intention and manifestation. When you believe beyond the boundaries of logic, you speak directly to the quantum field, the infinite realm of possibility, where all creation begins. Your belief is not a force to be summoned, but a natural state to be remembered. Like water finding its level, your faith seeks to align with the truth of your infinite potential. Every doubt you release allows this alignment to strengthen, creating a clear channel for manifestation. When you trust without demanding evidence, you activate a power greater than any physical force. This is not blind faith, but rather a deep recognition of the universal laws that govern all creation. Your belief becomes the secret handshake with the infinite, opening doors that logic insists must remain closed. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment as the day draws to a close. Place your hand over your heart and whisper these words, "I believe because I am." Let the vibration of these words sink beneath your ribs, transforming into a warm glow that radiates through your entire being. Allow this warmth to become your constant companion, a reminder of the unwavering faith that flows through your veins. Chapter 6. The Weight of Words. In a valley blessed by morning mist, Tilly spent her days observing the ripples of her words through the fabric of existence. With each passing season, she witnessed how her spoken thoughts materialized like seeds breaking through fertile soil, some sprouting into towering oaks of triumph, others into thorny vines of complexity. When Tilly proclaimed, "I am surrounded by kindness," strangers would offer unexpected aid. Upon declaring, "Abundance flows to me naturally," opportunities emerged from unseen corners. Yet it was only when she noticed the pattern that the deeper wisdom revealed itself. Her words were not merely describing her reality, they were architecting it. The universe operates through vibration, and speech represents one of its most potent frequencies. Each word you utter carries a specific resonance, merging with the quantum field where all possibility exists. Your casual remarks, earnest declarations, and whispered dreams weave the tapestry of your experience. This is not metaphor but mechanism, the sacred science through which consciousness shapes matter. In a bustling city across the mountains, Harold carried a different lesson. A talented artist, he habitually muttered, "I never finish anything on time," and "Success always eludes me." Though his work held brilliance, his words formed invisible barriers. Each self-critical statement crystallized into delay. Each negative proclamation manifested as another missed opportunity. Harold's path illuminates the precision with which the law of attraction responds to verbal vibration. The universe does not judge your words as positive or negative. It simply matches their frequency with unwavering accuracy. When you declare limitation, limitation answers. When you speak of delay, time itself seems to bend toward postponement. Through Harold's journey, you glimpse this truth. Your words are not commentary on your life, but commands to the creative force that shapes it. Every syllable carries the power of inception. Every phrase holds the potential for manifestation or constraint. This ancient wisdom whispers across centuries. Your tongue is the pen that writes upon the chapters of existence. Choose your words with the reverence of one who understands their creative potency. Let each utterance rise from a place of conscious intention rather than habitual reaction. The practice. As dawn breaks each morning, before your feet touch the ground, speak these 3 sentences of empowerment aloud. I am the master of my creative power. Divine energy flows through me, manifesting my highest good. All that I speak transforms into golden reality. Let these words anoint your day with verbal light, setting the frequency for all that follows. In this practice lies the seed of conscious creation, the art of speaking your world into being. Chapter 7. The Emotion of Knowing. Along the misty shores where waves whispered ancient secrets, Clara radiated a natural brightness that drew others to her warmth. Each morning she greeted the sun with a smile, her heart overflowing with gratitude for life's simple gifts. Yet one autumn day, without warning, a heavy cloud descended upon her spirit. The joy that once flowed effortlessly now felt distant, replaced by an inexplicable heaviness. In her despair, Clara withdrew from the world, believing she had somehow failed or lost her way. But as she sat beneath an old oak tree, a realization dawned. This darkness was not a punishment, but a message. Her emotions were not random afflictions, but precise instruments calibrating her journey. Your feelings serve as the universe's most sophisticated guidance system. When joy arises, it signals alignment with your soul's true path. When discomfort surfaces, it merely indicates a need to adjust your course. These emotional frequencies act as cosmic compasses, eternally pointing toward your highest good. Think of your emotional state as water finding its natural level. When you resist what is, emotion creates turbulence. When you align with truth, it flows smoothly. The universe speaks through this subtle language of feeling, offering moment-by-moment feedback about your thoughts, beliefs, and choices. In a distant mountain village lived Roy, a woodcarver who spent years trying to conquer his fears through sheer determination. Despite his efforts, anxiety remained his constant companion until he made a surprising discovery. One day, exhausted from the endless battle, Roy simply stopped fighting. He allowed his fear to exist without resistance, and in that acceptance, found an unexpected liberation. His surrender opened the door to genuine joy. Not because he had vanquished fear, but because he had released the need to control it. This tale mirrors an eternal truth. Emotional mastery comes not through dominance, but through understanding. When you embrace your feelings as messengers rather than enemies, they transform from obstacles into allies. The path to manifestation flows not through perfect positivity, but through emotional honesty and gentle realignment. Practice. Each afternoon, pause your activities and ask yourself, what is my emotion teaching me? Notice the feeling without judgment, like watching clouds pass across the sky. Then, with gentle intention, adjust your focus toward whatever brings relief, whether through gratitude, acceptance, or a shift in perspective. This daily attunement will strengthen your emotional compass, guiding you naturally toward your desires. Chapter 8. The Spiral of Desire. In a valley where morning mists clung to ancient stone walls, Nora tended her small garden with quiet dedication. Though her hands moved with practiced grace among the herbs and flowers, a shadow of guilt darkened her spirit whenever she yearned for more. Each time her heart whispered of greater possibilities, a thriving healing center, a school of wisdom, she quickly suppressed these dreams, believing them to be signs of discontent or greed. You must understand that desire flows from the same source as the force that unfolds rose petals and guides stars across the night sky. It is the universe's creative energy moving through you, seeking expression in uniquely human ways. When you resist natural desire, you interrupt the sacred current that animates all of creation. Just as a flower doesn't question its impulse to bloom, your authentic desires need no justification. They are the universe's way of evolving through you, expanding consciousness through your unique experiences and expressions. The key lies in distinguishing between ego-based wanting and soul-aligned desire. True desire feels like remembrance, a calling home to what you already are. Consider how the ocean doesn't apologize for its tides, nor does the moon hesitate to pull at Earth's waters. These forces move in harmony with universal law. Your desires, when pure, arise from this same divine orchestration. They are not separate from the spiritual path. They are the path itself, calling you toward greater expressions of your inherent light. In a distant mountain monastery, Edwin discovered this truth through an unexpected path. As a devoted seeker, he believed spiritual advancement meant freedom from all wanting. Yet with each achievement, with each new level of understanding, he found fresh longings awakening within him. What first appeared as an endless cycle of dissatisfaction revealed itself as the spiral dance of evolution, each fulfilled desire giving birth to more expansive visions, lifting consciousness ever higher. This eternal dance of fulfillment and renewed yearning serves a sacred purpose. It is not the restless wandering of an unfulfilled spirit, but the pulse of divine creativity, forever calling creation toward greater expressions of itself. Through Edwin's story, you glimpse the truth that desire's purpose is not merely acquisition, but transformation, each longing a thread in the tapestry of your becoming. The wisdom hidden in these tales speaks to the heart of manifestation. When you bless your desires rather than judge them, you open the channels through which abundance naturally flows. Your role is not to eliminate desire, but to refine it, to align it with the highest good of all, to let it serve as the bridge between potential and manifestation. The ancient practice of sacred desire Find a quiet moment as twilight approaches. Take a clean sheet of paper and write down one pure desire that rises from the depths of your being. Hold this paper to your heart and speak these words. I bless this desire, not as something to chase, but as something that already lives within me. I feel its fulfillment now, knowing it serves the highest good. Then close your eyes and allow yourself to experience the joy of this desire as if already manifested, letting this feeling permeate every cell of your being. Chapter 9. The Law Beneath All Laws. In the halls of a great library, Hazel spent her days immersed in ancient texts, searching for the thread that connected all wisdom. While others sought complex formulas for manifestation, she noticed something simpler yet more essential: how reality responded when different aspects of being aligned into perfect harmony. You stand now at the threshold of a fundamental truth. The universe responds not to the intensity of your desire, but to the coherence of your energy. When thought, emotion, and action unite in perfect resonance, creation becomes inevitable. This is the hidden mechanism behind what many call attraction. Think of light passing through a prism. Scattered, it creates a rainbow of dispersed energy. But focused through a lens, it becomes powerful enough to ignite fire. Your creative force works in precisely the same way. When your thoughts point one direction, your emotions another, and your actions yet another, you diffuse your manifesting power. But when all three align, you become an unstoppable force of creation. This alignment is not about perfection, it's about congruence. When you think abundance while feeling lack, or speak of love while harboring resentment, you create interference patterns that cancel out your creative frequency. The universe responds not to what you want, but to what you are being in totality. In a small village, Chester discovered this truth through an unexpected experiment. After years of visualizing prosperity with little result, he decided to simply act as though abundance was already his nature. Each morning, despite his modest means, he shared what little he had: a piece of bread here, a kind word there, a helping hand everywhere. He felt the joy of giving and held thoughts of infinite supply. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities appeared. A forgotten debt was repaid. A distant relative left him a small inheritance, and his small acts of kindness returned multiplied. Chester hadn't changed his circumstances through mental effort alone. He had achieved coherence between thought, feeling, and action. His outer world had no choice but to reflect this new alignment. The mystery dissolves when you understand. Manifestation is not about forcing reality to bend to your will. It's about achieving such perfect harmony between your inner and outer expression that the universe naturally conspires to match your frequency. When you think prosperity, feel abundance, and act generously, you become prosperity itself. When you think love, feel compassion, and act kindly, you become love itself. The ancient practice of triple alignment. Select one desire close to your heart. Choose one thought that supports it, like "I am naturally abundant." Then connect with one feeling that matches this thought, perhaps gratitude or joy. Finally, perform one action today that embodies both the thought and the feeling. This might be sharing resources, expressing appreciation, or creating beauty. Hold this alignment for as long as you can, noticing how reality begins to synchronize with your coherent energy. In this unity of being, you become a clear channel for manifestation. Chapter 10. The Gate of Allowing. A tale whispers through time of gentle Irene, whose hands held life too tightly. In her garden she tended each plant with meticulous care, measuring water by the drop, trimming leaves with surgical precision. Yet despite her devoted attention, her flowers remained small and hesitant, as if afraid to fully bloom. One morning, a wild rainstorm swept through her carefully maintained sanctuary. Irene watched in distress as wind tousled her precious blooms, rain soaked the soil beyond her calculated amounts, and leaves danced in patterns she hadn't ordained. Her instinct screamed to intervene, to protect, to control. But exhaustion kept her rooted at her window. When dawn broke the next day, she stepped into her garden expecting devastation. Instead, she found her flowers standing taller, colors more vivid than ever before. In that moment, the universe unveiled its gentle truth. Life thrives not through control, but through trust. This brings us to the deepest paradox of manifestation, the art of allowing. Your desires manifest not through force, but through surrender. Each time you grasp too tightly at an outcome, you create resistance in the very fabric of creation. The universe operates through flow, not force. Think of your desires as birds. Hold them too tightly and they cannot fly. Create space for their wings to spread, and they soar, often returning with unexpected gifts. This is not passive resignation, but active trust, a dynamic dance with the intelligence of life itself. Harris, a merchant who had struggled for years to expand his trade, discovered this truth through an unexpected lesson. After decades of pushing, planning, and forcing his way forward, illness forced him to step back from his business for 3 months. In his absence, he watched in amazement as new opportunities effortlessly emerged, connections spontaneously formed, and success flowed naturally, all without his micromanagement. What Harris discovered, and what you must now understand, is that the universe has its own elegant choreography. Your role is not to direct, but to dance with it. When you release your grip on how things should be, you allow space for how they could be. This surrender is not about abandoning action, but about releasing attachment to specific outcomes. It's about trusting that the intelligence that orchestrates galaxies can certainly handle the details of your desires. The path of allowing requires courage, the courage to trust what you cannot see, to release what you cannot control, and to receive what you haven't planned. As you relax your grip on life, you'll find that what you seek has been seeking you all along. Ancient practice. Sit quietly in a comfortable space. Place your hands palms up on your lap, physically embodying receptivity. Breathe deeply and say, "I release my grip. I open to receive." Feel the softness that follows. Let this sensation of gentle surrender wash through your entire being. In this space of allowing, notice how life begins to flow more freely through you. Part 2. The Transformation of Energy into Matter. Chapter 11. The Geometry of Faith. In a sun-dappled studio, Ruby sat drawing intricate mandalas, her hand moving as if guided by an unseen force. Each morning she would trace these sacred patterns before speaking a word, allowing her intuition to flow freely onto paper. At first, these drawings seemed merely beautiful, concentric circles, flowing spirals, and interconnected lines dancing across the page. But as weeks passed, she noticed something extraordinary. The patterns she drew began manifesting in her daily life. A spiral she sketched on Monday led to an unexpected opportunity spiraling into view by Friday. A series of connecting circles preceded a chain of meaningful connections in her work. The symmetry she created seemed to call forth balance in her circumstances. The universe speaks in patterns, and your awareness of them determines how elegantly your desires manifest. Just as Ruby discovered, every thought you hold consistently creates a geometric blueprint in the quantum field. These thought patterns become the architecture of your reality, arranging seemingly random events into meaningful designs. Consider Gordon, a merchant whose financial anxiety created jagged, disrupted patterns in his energy field. Each morning he would check his accounts with trepidation, expecting lack. His fear fragmented his relationship with abundance until he learned to see money as energy flowing in divine order. By visualizing his finances as part of a perfect universal pattern, his scattered thoughts realigned. Within months, his business reflected this new internal geometry, steady, expanding, harmonious. Your beliefs are not abstract concepts, but living blueprints that the universe follows with perfect precision. When you trust deeply, your energy field arranges itself into coherent patterns that attract similar harmonious circumstances. Doubt creates static. Trust creates symmetry. This is why ancient temples were built using sacred geometry. Their builders understood that certain patterns resonate with universal order, creating spaces where heaven and earth align. You, too, are a living temple. And your sustained faith creates sacred architecture in the invisible realm. The quantum field responds not to what you wish for occasionally, but to the patterns you maintain consistently. Every sustained thought leaves a geometric imprint in the ether. Make yours beautiful through unwavering trust. Practice sacred pattern meditation. Sit quietly in a peaceful space. Close your eyes and visualize your life as a geometric form, perhaps a sphere of golden light or a flowering mandala. See this shape pulsing with pure faith, each beat sending ripples of trust through the universe. Feel how your belief creates order from chaos, transforming random events into meaningful patterns. Hold this vision until you sense your energy field arranging itself into perfect symmetry with your desires. This ancient practice reminds you that faith is not merely emotion. It is the architect of reality itself. Through consistent trust, you allow the universe to reveal its inherent order in your life. Chapter 12. Alchemy of Emotion. In a small village among rolling hills, bright Daisy woke each morning to paint the sunrise. Not because of its beauty, but because deep sorrow had taken residence in her heart after losing her lifelong companion. Rather than allowing grief to consume her, she discovered that her tears, when channeled through her brushstrokes, created works of startling beauty. Through this experience, a profound truth emerges. Emotion is neither positive nor negative. It is pure energy seeking expression. When you learn to consciously transmute your feelings rather than suppress them, you unlock an infinite wellspring of creative power. Your emotions become the colors with which you paint your reality. The art of emotional alchemy lies not in changing what you feel, but in redirecting its flow. Just as water can either flood destructively or nourish crops, your emotional energy awaits your conscious direction. Each feeling carries a specific frequency, and when channeled with awareness, transforms into manifestation fuel. Eugene's story mirrors this wisdom. After his business collapsed, anger burned within him like molten steel. Instead of letting it corrode his spirit, he chose to volunteer at local shelters. With each act of service, his anger transformed into purpose. The very energy that could have destroyed him became the force that rebuilt not only his life, but lifted others. Within a year, his charitable work evolved into a thriving social enterprise, touching more lives than his previous business ever had. This transformation illuminates a cardinal truth. Emotions are messengers carrying packets of pure creative potential. When you honor their presence while consciously redirecting their energy, you participate in sacred alchemy. Sorrow becomes compassion. Anger transforms into motivation. Fear alchemizes into courage. Your emotional spectrum is not a burden to overcome, but a palette of frequencies awaiting your masterful touch. Each feeling represents a different note in the symphony of creation. When you learn to play these notes intentionally, life responds with harmonious manifestations. The wisdom lies in neither indulging nor suppressing your emotions, but in recognizing them as raw material for conscious creation. Every feeling that rises within you carries the seeds of transformation. Your awareness becomes the soil in which these seeds can flourish into purposeful expression. Practice. When strong feelings rise, breathe and bless them, whispering, "You are power becoming purpose." Chapter 13. The Invisible Contract. In a quiet mountain valley, Loretta tended her garden each morning, wondering why abundance seemed to flow to others but trickled past her door. Though she spoke words of prosperity and studied manifestation, something invisible seemed to block her path. It wasn't until she found an old diary, filled with her younger self's wounded words, that understanding dawned. In those chapters, she discovered agreements she'd made long ago. "I don't deserve more than this. Struggle proves my worth. It's selfish to want more." These silent contracts, etched in the depths of your being, shape reality more powerfully than any conscious declaration. Your subconscious mind, keeper of these ancient vows, ensures that life adheres to what you truly believe, not what you wish to believe. Surface affirmations, no matter how bold, cannot override these deeper signatures until you acknowledge and transform them. Consider how a child who internalized, "I must work twice as hard to be loved," might grow into an adult who unconsciously sabotages ease and grace. The universe responds not to the vision board on your wall, but to the contract written in your heart. In another valley, Benny faced perpetual financial strain despite his diligent efforts. Through quiet introspection, he uncovered a childhood promise made during family hardship. "I'll never have more than others who suffer." This revelation illuminated why abundance always remained just out of reach. With gentle awareness, he composed a new agreement. "My prosperity enables me to lift others higher." Within months, unexpected opportunities flourished, allowing him to both receive and give abundantly. Your deepest beliefs act as invisible ink, signing agreements with the universe that manifest as your daily reality. Each thought you consistently hold becomes a clause in this cosmic contract. The key lies not in forcing new thoughts, but in discovering and amending these hidden terms with loving awareness. The universe honors authenticity above all. When your conscious desires align with your subconscious agreements, manifestation flows naturally. This is why some seem to attract their dreams effortlessly. Their inner and outer worlds sing in harmony. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment as twilight approaches. Place your hand upon your heart and ask, "What agreements have I made with life?" Listen without judgment to what emerges. Take a sheet of paper and write, "I now consciously choose to believe." Complete this statement with a truth that resonates in your depths. Press your hand to these words until you feel them sink beneath your skin, becoming a new contract with existence itself. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. Shadows That Bless. In a secluded valley where mist clung to ancient stones, Opal lived in perpetual twilight. Each morning, she would rise before dawn, carefully timing her activities to avoid confronting her reflection. When anger stirred within her chest, she pushed it down. When sadness welled up, she forced a smile. Yet these suppressed emotions grew stronger, casting longer shadows across her days. The universe speaks through contrast. Your shadows are not demons to be vanquished, but aspects of your divine wholeness awaiting recognition. These darker impulses, anger, fear, grief, desire, carry wisdom that your light alone cannot provide. When you resist these messages, you resist the very force that seeks to expand your consciousness. Opal's transformation began the day she stopped running. Sitting in her garden as storm clouds gathered, she finally turned to face her reflection in a rain-filled basin. There, in the turbulent water, she saw not a monster, but a wounded part of herself, asking only to be heard. With trembling hands, she touched the water's surface, accepting both the ripples and the stillness. Your inner darkness holds the seeds of your greatest gifts. That fierce anger protects your boundaries. That deep sadness opens your heart to compassion. That gripping fear alerts you to necessary change. These shadows are not your enemies. They are guardians of truth, waiting to be transformed through acceptance. Milton, a merchant who carried guilt like heavy coins in his pockets, discovered this truth in the marketplace of his mind. For years, he had condemned himself for past mistakes, until he realized his guilt was simply love's distorted reflection. Each time he judged himself harshly, he was actually expressing a deep desire to live with integrity. When he finally embraced this understanding, his guilt transformed into a compassionate wisdom that guided his choices. Just as light cannot cast a shadow without striking something solid, your challenges reveal where growth awaits. The very qualities you judge most harshly often guard your most precious gifts. Your jealousy points to unfulfilled dreams. Your shame highlights values you hold dear. Your fear illuminates what matters most. You need not perfect yourself to be worthy of abundance. Instead, wholeness emerges from embracing all that you are. Each shadow, when held in the light of consciousness, reveals its hidden blessing. This integration releases energy once spent on resistance, allowing manifestation to flow naturally. Ancient practice of shadow integration. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Imagine your most challenging emotion taking form before you. See it not as an enemy, but as a protective guardian who has served you faithfully. Extend your hands toward this shadow aspect and whisper, "Thank you for your protection. I embrace you as part of my wholeness." Feel the energy shift as rejection transforms into acceptance. Let this integration be your gateway to deeper abundance. Chapter 15. The Time-Fold Principle. In a sunlit garden, Hilda sat quietly each morning, eyes closed, a gentle smile playing across her lips. While others rushed through their days planning and striving, she discovered a sacred truth. The future already exists as energy, waiting to be welcomed into form. Through her practice of inhabiting her fulfilled desires, Hilda noticed subtle shifts in her present reality. When she imagined herself as already accomplished, confident, and at peace, her posture straightened naturally. Her voice carried new authority. Opportunities began appearing as if summoned by her certainty. What Hilda stumbled upon reflects an ancient understanding. Time is not linear, but circular, with all possibilities existing simultaneously. Your future self is not a distant stranger, but an energy signature you can embody now. By matching the frequency of your desired reality, you draw it into being through the law of resonance. The boundaries between now and then dissolve in the quantum field. When you truly feel your future state as present reality, the universe begins orchestrating circumstances to match your energetic signal. This is not mere visualization. It is vibrational inhabitation. In a bustling marketplace across town, Levi conducted an experiment in temporal alchemy. For 7 days, he lived as though his deepest aspirations had manifested. He walked differently, spoke differently, made decisions from the perspective of already having what he desired. He didn't pretend. He embodied. By day 3, colleagues remarked on his transformed presence. By day 5, an unexpected business opportunity emerged matching his exact vision. On the 7th day, Levi realized he had crossed an invisible bridge. The future he'd been courting through feeling was materializing in real time. What Levi demonstrated was not coincidence but cosmic law. When you vibrationally match your fulfilled desire, you become a magnet for its physical expression. The universe must then reorganize itself to reflect your new frequency back to you. Your now shapes your next through resonance. Each moment you spend feeling your future success, abundance, and joy as present reality acts as a beckoning call to that timeline. This is not fantasy, but physics. The mechanics of manifestation through matched vibration. Morning practice. As the sun rises each day, find a quiet space. Close your eyes and step fully into your desired future state. Feel the emotions, sensations, and certainty of already being who you wish to become. Let this future self energy permeate your entire being for 1 sacred minute. Don't simply imagine it. Become it. This daily practice attunes your frequency to the reality you seek, making its manifestation inevitable. Chapter 16. Resonance of Service. In a bustling marketplace, Franny clutched her coins tightly, counting them obsessively. Each transaction filled her with dread, as though every spent penny diminished her worth. She hoarded not just money, but time, energy, and love, believing that holding on meant security. One autumn morning, she witnessed an old woman struggling with heavy baskets. Though her first impulse was to hurry past, something made her pause. In that moment of hesitation, she remembered her grandmother's words, "A closed hand cannot receive. Against her usual nature, Franny helped carry the baskets. The woman's grateful smile awakened something within her, a warmth that felt strangely like abundance. The universe operates through continuous flow. Like a river that stagnates when dammed, energy must circulate to remain vital. This truth echoes through all creation. The breath must be released to draw in fresh air. The heart must give blood to receive it again. The soil must yield its nutrients to be replenished. Otto, a humble baker, understood this principle intuitively. Each morning, he placed extra loaves outside his shop for those in need. His neighbors warned him of financial ruin, but Otto smiled knowingly. As his giving increased, his business flourished mysteriously. New customers appeared, speaking of dreams where they saw his bakery glowing with golden light. His generosity had created an energy vortex that attracted prosperity. The law of circulation reveals that giving aligns you with the natural order of the universe. When you give with joy, without expectation, you enter the slipstream of divine abundance. Every act of genuine service sends ripples through the quantum field, returning multiplied blessings through unexpected channels. This principle transcends material giving. Your smile, your understanding, your forgiveness, these too are currencies of abundance. As you release judgment, fear, and the need to control, you clear the channel for greater good to flow through your life. The secret lies not in the size of the giving, but in the spirit behind it. A single kind word offered freely carries more power than grand gestures made with calculation. The universe responds not to the action alone, but to the frequency of your heart as you give. Practice. Let your heart guide you to one act of gentle service today. As you give, feel the warmth of expansion in your chest. Notice how the simple act of giving freely, without attachment to return, ignites a current of joy that flows both ways. Chapter 17. Dreams as Doorways. In the depths of night, Viola discovered that her dreams whispered truths about events yet to unfold. At first, she dismissed these nocturnal messages as mere coincidence until the patterns became too precise to ignore. Each morning brought another confirmation. A stranger she had dreamed of would appear. A conversation would unfold exactly as previewed in her sleep. When you dream, you enter the space between worlds, where time flows differently and reality reveals its fluid nature. Your consciousness, freed from physical constraints, attunes to frequencies beyond ordinary perception. This natural cycle of sleep serves as more than rest. It is a nightly recalibration of your energetic field. During these sacred hours, your spirit communes with higher realms of understanding. The symbols and scenarios that play across your mind's eye are not random. They are messages encoded in the language of your soul. Each dream acts as a bridge between what is and what could be, allowing you to rehearse new possibilities before they materialize. Consider how water changes states, from solid to liquid to vapor. Your consciousness undergoes similar transformations during sleep. You become more permeable to divine guidance, more receptive to the whispers of universal intelligence. This altered state allows you to download wisdom that your waking mind might otherwise resist. The story of Merle, a sculptor, demonstrates this principle in action. For months, his creativity had stagnated, his hands unable to shape the visions in his mind. But when he began recording his dreams, patterns emerged. Images of flowing water led him to softer forms. Dreams of birds inspired him to incorporate movement into static stone. By treating his dreams as creative collaborators rather than meaningless phantasms, he dissolved the blockage that had confined his art. The meaning is clear. Your dreams are not escapes from reality, but previews of potential. They serve as practice grounds where your consciousness rehearses the miracles it wishes to manifest. Every nightmare presents a shadow to integrate. Every pleasant dream offers a frequency to embody. The veil between sleeping and waking is thinner than you imagine. Each dream carries a seed of manifestation, waiting to be recognized and nurtured into physical form. Your task is not to analyze these visions into submission, but to allow their wisdom to permeate your being. Ancient practice. Upon waking each morning, before opening your eyes, remain still and recall the primary image or feeling from your dream. Record it immediately in a journal kept by your bedside. Treat this message not as random fiction, but as sacred guidance meant specifically for you. Ask yourself, what is this dream inviting me to understand? Let the answer arise naturally throughout your day, knowing that night wisdom flows easily into daylight when welcomed with trust. Chapter 18. Celestial Math. In a bustling city, logical Archie meticulously documented every event in his life through the lens of reason. Numbers, facts, and tangible evidence formed the foundation of his understanding, until the patterns began. It started with small occurrences. A thought of an old friend would materialize into an unexpected call moments later. A book title that crossed his mind would appear 3 times that day, in conversation on a billboard in a stranger's hands. At first, Archie dismissed these as random chance, calculating the statistical probabilities. But as the connections multiplied, even his analytical mind could no longer deny the invisible orchestration at work. The universe speaks in the language of synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that defy statistical explanation. These moments are not random. They are precise calculations in the spiritual mathematics of existence. When you align with the frequency of what you seek, the universe responds with confirmatory signs, creating a bridge between intention and manifestation. These synchronicities operate as a divine feedback system, showing you when you're in harmony with universal flow. Like invisible threads weaving through reality, they connect thought to experience, creating tapestries of meaning that transcend ordinary probability. Naomi understood this truth intuitively. She began keeping what she called her evidence journal, recording every meaningful coincidence that crossed her path. A dream about butterflies would lead to 3 butterfly encounters the next day. A passing wish for guidance would bring 3 different people offering the same advice. Through careful documentation, she discovered that acknowledging these signs amplified their frequency and clarity. Her simple act of recognition transformed coincidence into conversation, a dialogue with the divine that grew richer with each entry. The more she acknowledged these moments, the more abundant they became, creating an ever-expanding spiral of synchronistic events. These winks from the universe serve as confirmation that you're seen, heard, and supported by forces beyond physical perception. They reveal the mathematical precision with which the spiritual realm responds to your consciousness. Every synchronicity is a calculated response to your energetic signature, proof that the universe matches your frequency with exact precision. Sacred practice. Keep a small notebook dedicated to synchronicities. Each evening, record 3 meaningful coincidences from your day, As you write each one, pause and whisper, "I acknowledge this sign." Feel gratitude for these cosmic confirmations. This practice transforms ordinary moments into sacred dialogue, strengthening your connection to the invisible threads that weave reality's tapestry. Chapter 19. The Gold Within Waiting. In a small garden at the edge of town, Mabel knelt daily before her unblossomed roses, fighting the urge to force their petals open. Each morning she would inspect the buds, her heart heavy with anticipation, wondering why her tender care yielded no immediate blooms. The roses remained tightly wound, seemingly dormant despite her devotion. Through her daily vigil, a truth began to unfold as quietly as the dew that gathered on the leaves. What appeared as stagnation held an invisible momentum, a sacred choreography of life preparing to burst forth. The buds weren't refusing to bloom. They were gathering strength for their grand unveiling. Within the depths of apparent stillness lies the most potent creation. Just as the universe itself was born from the void, all manifestation emerges from periods of sacred pause. These intervals of seeming inaction are not voids to be feared, but wombs of possibility where your desires gather force. Divine timing operates with impeccable precision, orchestrating countless unseen elements into perfect alignment. What you perceive as delay is actually divine preparation, the universe arranging circumstances, people, and energies to support your highest good. Like a master conductor coordinating a vast symphony, the cosmic intelligence knows exactly when each note should sound. Thurman discovered this wisdom in his modest vegetable garden. After years of forcing growth through artificial means, he learned to surrender to nature's rhythm. He began treating patience not as passive waiting, but as active cultivation of fertile soil. Each day he tended his garden with presence rather than urgency, understanding that beneath the soil's surface, miracles were in motion. His lettuce grew fuller, his tomatoes sweeter, as he aligned with nature's timing rather than imposing his own. Through this practice, he rediscovered a faith that transcended his need for immediate results. The garden became his teacher, showing him that creation follows its own sacred timeline. Remember, what appears dormant on the surface often masks profound transformation beneath. Like a seed gathering strength before pushing through soil, your manifestations are gaining momentum in the unseen realm. This period of apparent stillness is not denial. It is sacred gestation. Trust that the universe holds your desires in its vast intelligence, bringing them forth at the precise moment when all elements align for optimal flourishing. Your role is not to force the process, but to maintain the frequency of faith during the interval of becoming. Sacred practice. Each morning and evening, find a quiet moment to whisper these words. I trust the unfolding interval. Let this affirmation settle into your being like a seed into fertile soil. Feel the peace that comes with surrendering to divine timing, knowing that what seems like pause is actually preparation for your greatest blossoming. Chapter 20. Ladders of Frequency. In the heart of a bustling market, Pearl stood watching a street musician play his violin. While others rushed past, seeking grander entertainments, she noticed how this simple melody lifted her spirit more than any elaborate concert she'd attended. The quiet joy that washed over her in that moment sparked an understanding. True vibrational elevation comes not from chasing euphoria, but from embracing gentle pleasures, The universe responds not to the magnitude of our emotions, but to their quality. Like notes on a musical scale, emotions form a ladder between the depths of fear and the heights of love. Each rung represents a distinct frequency, and climbing this ladder requires patience rather than force. You need not leap from despair to ecstasy in a single bound. Indeed, such attempts often lead to spiritual exhaustion and eventual decline. Instead, the mastery lies in recognizing your current emotional position and deliberately choosing thoughts that allow you to step one rung higher. If you find yourself in anxiety, reach for the slightly better feeling of hope. From hope, you might climb to optimism, from optimism to contentment, from contentment to joy. Each step builds upon the last, creating a sustainable ascension in your vibrational frequency. Vernon, a business executive, discovered this truth through his own journey. After years of pushing himself toward peak performance through sheer will, he found himself trapped in a cycle of temporary highs followed by crushing lows. His breakthrough came when he began practicing what he called appreciation walks. Each morning, he would simply notice one small beauty, a dewdrop on a leaf, the pattern of clouds, the warmth of sunlight on his face. At first, these moments seemed insignificant compared to his previous pursuits of excitement and achievement. Yet gradually, he noticed a profound shift. His life began flowing with unexpected ease. Opportunities appeared naturally, relationships deepened, and a steady sense of peace replaced his former emotional volatility. He had discovered that serenity carries a magnetic power that forced enthusiasm cannot match. The secret lies in understanding that the universe responds to sustained frequency rather than sporadic peaks. Like a radio receiving station, your emotional set point determines which experiences you're tuned to receive. Small, consistent elevations in mood create more lasting transformation than dramatic but unsustainable shifts. Think of your emotional state as a garden rather than a performance. You're not trying to force spectacular blooms, but rather creating conditions that naturally support growth. Each gentle appreciation, each moment of quiet contentment, each small recognition of beauty adds to your vibrational soil. Sacred practice. Take a moment now to gently identify your current emotional state without judgment. Feel where you are on the ladder between fear and love. Then, with the tenderness of a gardener tending a delicate plant, reach for a thought that brings you one step higher. Perhaps it's gratitude for the breath in your lungs, appreciation for the comfort of your chair, or recognition of a small beauty in your surroundings. Let this subtle shift be enough, knowing that mastery comes through gentle persistence rather than force. Part 3. The Revelation of the Master Creator. Chapter 21. The Throne of Inner Vision. In a small cottage among flowering gardens, Elsie discovered the difference between daydreaming and divine visualization. Each morning she would sit by her window, not merely imagining her desires, but experiencing them with such clarity that her entire being responded as if they were already manifest. Her heart would quicken, her skin would tingle, and tears of gratitude would often flow, all for events yet to unfold in the physical world. The power of visualization extends far beyond mere mental pictures. When you truly harness this gift, you are not entertaining yourself with pleasant fantasies. You are drafting blueprints in the quantum field. Every detail you imagine with feeling becomes a command to the universal forces of creation. Your inner sight serves as the architect's pen. drawing the plans that energy must follow. The key lies in understanding that visualization is not an act of escape, but one of creation. When you close your eyes to envision your desires, you enter the sacred workshop where all manifestation begins. Here, in this intimate space between thought and form, you paint with the colors of possibility upon the canvas of infinite potential. Carlton, a former skeptic, learned this truth through an unexpected journey. After losing his life savings, he began spending time each evening visualizing not just financial recovery, but true abundance. Yet unlike his previous attempts at positive thinking, he now infused each mental image with the full spectrum of emotion, the security of having more than enough, the joy of sharing with others, the peace of financial freedom. At first, nothing seemed to change in his outer world, but he noticed something shifting within himself, a quiet certainty, a deeper relaxation around money. Then, like snow melting to reveal spring flowers already growing beneath, opportunities began emerging in his life. A chance conversation led to a promising partnership. An overlooked talent became a source of income. What he had so carefully crafted in his inner vision began taking shape in physical reality. The universe responds not to the pictures in your mind, but to the feeling tone they generate. When you visualize with emotional intensity, you're not merely wishing, you're vibrating at the frequency of your desire. This resonance acts as a tuning fork, calling forth circumstances that match your inner state. Think of your visualization practice as writing upon reality's living chalkboard. Each detail you imagine with feeling becomes an instruction to the universal forces. The more vivid your inner experience, the clearer the command. The deeper your emotional engagement, the stronger the magnetic pull toward manifestation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and allow your dream to unfold before your inner vision. For 2 minutes, immerse yourself completely in this reality. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures. Let your body experience the emotions of your desire fulfilled. Don't rush or strain. Simply witness your vision with the calm certainty that what you see within must manifest without. This is not imagination. It is creation in its purest form. Chapter 22. Frequencies of Relationship. In a bustling town square, Patsy stood watching couples pass by, their hands intertwined, their laughter mingling with the fountain's gentle splash. Despite her yearning for such connection, relationships in her life seemed to follow a pattern, beginning with promise, but inevitably dissolving into discord. What she couldn't see was how her inner turmoil created ripples in the fabric of her interactions. Each morning, Patsy would wake to rehearse her familiar litany of self-criticism. Why can't I get this right? What's wrong with me? These whispered doubts weren't merely thoughts. They were vibrations sent into the universal field, calling forth matching frequencies of uncertainty and disharmony. The law of attraction operates with particular potency in matters of the heart. Your relationships mirror not what you want, but what you are broadcasting from within. When your inner dialogue carries notes of judgment, doubt, or unworthiness, these frequencies magnetize similar energies in others. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, cannot help but match your inner soundtrack. In the quiet village of Millbrook, Frank discovered this truth through an unexpected turn of events. After 20 years of marriage marked by increasing silence and distance, he began a simple practice. Each morning, Before his wife stirred, he would speak words of appreciation into the dawn light. I am grateful for her strength. I honor her wisdom. I celebrate our journey together. At first, nothing seemed to change. But gradually, like spring thawing frozen ground, warmth began to return to their home. Frank noticed his wife smiling more, touching his hand at dinner, sharing stories from her day. He hadn't changed her. He had changed the frequency he was contributing to their shared field. The secret lies in understanding that love is not something to acquire, but a frequency to embody. When you shift your inner dialogue from criticism to appreciation, from judgment to acceptance, you alter the entire energetic blueprint of your relationships. The universe responds not to what you seek, but to what you emanate. Remember, every thought about another person is a prayer, every judgment a seed planted in the garden of your shared experience. When you bless without condition, when you appreciate without agenda, you create a resonance that attracts harmonious connections naturally. Ancient practice. Before sleep each night, rest your hands over your heart and quietly bless each person in your life with these words: You and I are one field of love. Feel the truth of this unity dissolving all barriers between hearts. Chapter 23. The Law of Non-Resistance. High in the mountains where ancient pines whispered secrets of patience lived a woman named Ivy. Each morning she would arise before dawn, creating detailed plans and strategies to shape her destiny. With unwavering determination, she fought against every obstacle, believing that force of will alone could bend reality to her desires. Yet the more she pushed, the more life seemed to push back. Your greatest power lies not in resistance, but in alignment. Like Ivy, you may have spent countless hours battling against circumstances, exhausting yourself in the process. The universe responds not to force, but to frequency. When you struggle against what is, you create interference in your own energy field, disrupting the natural flow of manifestation. The law of surrender reveals a paradox. Letting go attracts more than holding on. This isn't passive resignation, but active acceptance, a state of profound trust in the universe's perfect orchestration. When you release your grip on how things must unfold, you allow infinite intelligence to arrange circumstances beyond your limited perspective. In a quiet valley, Clifton, a merchant, lost everything in a sudden flood. Instead of raging against his fate, he chose to remain in perfect equilibrium. The water takes and the water gives, he would say, maintaining his inner peace. Within months, unexpected opportunities arose, bringing him greater prosperity than before. His story teaches that non-resistance creates space for miracles. What appears as loss often conceals a gateway to greater abundance. Your attachment to specific outcomes creates resistance to the universe's broader plan for your highest good. When you release this attachment, you enter a state of allowing where manifestation flows naturally and effortlessly. Consider how water shapes stone, not through force but through persistent fluidity. Similarly, your power to create increases when you flow with life rather than against it. Peace arrives not from controlling circumstances but from trusting the process of unfolding. The interpretation becomes clear. Material manifestations follow spiritual surrender. By releasing resistance, you align with the natural current of creation, allowing abundance to flow through the path of least resistance. Ancient practice. When tension rises, breathe and whisper, I flow with the flower, not against it. Feel the immediacy of peace that follows surrender, knowing that in this release lies your greatest power. Chapter 24. The Music of Money. In a bustling marketplace, a shopkeeper named Edie counted her earnings each evening with a heavy heart. Though her small store provided sustenance, she viewed each coin as merely a measure of her worth, each transaction a cold exchange. Yet one autumn evening, as she watched leaves dance in the wind, a profound shift occurred within her spirit. The gentle rustle reminded her of music, and suddenly she understood. Money was not meant to be hoarded or feared, but to flow like notes in an eternal symphony. The currency that flows through your life speaks a language deeper than numbers. What appears as simple exchange of paper and metal carries within it the essence of universal energy, ever moving, ever transforming. When you grasp money with tension, you interrupt its natural rhythm. Yet when you recognize it as appreciation made tangible, you align with abundance's true nature. Like water, wealth seeks its own level through the path of least resistance. Your relationship with money mirrors your relationship with life's abundance. Each transaction offers an opportunity to participate in the grand circulation of blessing. Every dollar represents not a finite resource to be guarded, but a note in the infinite symphony of exchange. In the heart of the financial district, Harvey discovered this truth through an unexpected mentor. After years of viewing money through the lens of scarcity, he began a simple practice. With each payment made or received, he offered a blessing of gratitude. Whether paying bills or depositing earnings, he acknowledged the sacred flow. This is not an ending or beginning, he would remind himself, but part of life's eternal circulation. Within months, Harvey noticed subtle shifts. Unexpected opportunities appeared. Past due accounts resolved themselves with surprising ease. His consciousness of lack transformed into awareness of abundance. The very energy of his business changed, not through complex strategies, but through simple appreciation. This revelation speaks to a fundamental truth. Money flows toward gratitude. When you bless its movement, both in giving and receiving, you become a conscious participant in abundance's dance. Your appreciation creates a magnetic field that attracts more to appreciate. The ancient wisdom keepers understood. Gratitude is not a response to abundance, but its foundation. Every expression of thanks attunes your energy to prosperity's frequency. Each blessing offered becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of infinite possibility. Sacred practice. When handling money, whether receiving or spending, pause briefly and say with gentle reverence, "Thank you for moving through me." Feel the words resonate in your heart, acknowledging your role as a channel for abundance's flow. This practice transforms every financial interaction into a moment of sacred connection, harmonizing your energy with the eternal current of prosperity. Chapter 25. The Fifth Element. Joy. In a small valley town, Sonny Ralph trudged through his daily routines with determined discipline. Each morning, he would meticulously write his goals, repeat his affirmations, and visualize his desires with unwavering focus, yet abundance remained elusive, slipping through his fingers like morning mist. His dedication was impeccable, but his heart felt heavy with the weight of spiritual obligation. One crisp dawn, while watching his young daughter chase butterflies in their garden, something ancient stirred within him. Her laughter, pure and unbridled, seemed to make the flowers lean toward her, as if nature itself responded to her delight. In that moment, he realized how he had turned the sacred art of creation into a solemn duty. The universe operates through frequencies of light, and joy is its highest vibration. When you approach manifestation as a burden, you unknowingly create resistance in the very field meant to support your dreams. Joy is not the reward for achieving your desires. It is the foundation upon which all desires flourish. Consider how water flows most freely through open channels. Similarly, your creative power flows most potently through a heart opened by joy. When you release the grip of trying, allowing yourself to experience pleasure in the present moment, you automatically align with the frequency of receiving. In a nearby town lived Nettie, who transformed her life by rediscovering the wonder she knew as a child. While others rushed through their morning routines, she turned making breakfast into a dance, humming as she stirred her tea, treating each moment as an opportunity for delight. Within months, her radiance attracted unexpected opportunities, as if the universe conspired to bring more reasons for her joy. Her story teaches us that joy is not frivolous. It is a spiritual technology. When you approach life with playfulness, you release the electromagnetic charge of worry and striving. This subtle shift allows manifestation to occur naturally, like fruit ripening in the sun. The physics of creation respond not to what you do, but to the frequency you embody. Joy is divine permission to receive, opening channels that effort alone cannot access. Your natural state is not one of struggle, but of delight. This is the forgotten key to effortless manifestation. Ancient practice. Choose one activity today purely for the sake of joy. Release all purpose except pleasure. Notice how this shift in frequency creates ripples of possibility in your field. As you embrace delight, feel how the universe mirrors your lightness of being. Chapter 26. The Bridge Between Worlds. In a house filled with memories, intuitive Millie sat quietly in her grandmother's cherished rocking chair. Though her beloved matriarch had crossed the veil years ago, Millie often felt her presence, a gentle warmth, a familiar scent of lavender, a knowing that transcended physical separation. At first she dismissed these moments as wishful thinking, until the signs became too precise to ignore. Numbers would appear in sequence, her grandmother's birth date on license plates, receipts, and clocks. Objects would mysteriously relocate to places that held significance. Each sign preceded a meaningful breakthrough or opportunity, as if her grandmother still guided her path from realms unseen. The universe operates beyond the limited spectrum of physical perception. Just as radio waves carry music through seemingly empty space, consciousness flows unrestricted by material boundaries. Your loved ones who have transitioned remain connected through bonds of pure energy, love being the strongest frequency in existence. When you open your awareness to subtle guidance, you activate a powerful co-creative force. Those in spirit form, unbounded by physical limitation, perceive the broader pattern of your life's unfolding. Their guidance often arrives through synchronicities, dreams, and intuitive nudges that feel like remembered wisdom. In a distant city, Grover faced devastating loss when his business collapsed. Rather than surrendering to despair, he began speaking aloud to his departed father, who had been a successful merchant. During his darkest moments, he would feel an inexplicable surge of courage, accompanied by innovative solutions that seem to arise from nowhere. By trusting these unseen promptings, Grover not only rebuilt his business, but expanded it beyond his original vision. The veil between worlds is thinner than human doubt allows. When you acknowledge the subtle support available to you, manifestation accelerates naturally. This is not about relinquishing your power, but expanding your conception of what assistance is available. The universe operates through collaboration between seen and unseen forces. Your departed loved ones remain invested in your joy and growth. Their perspective, unlimited by earthly concerns, can help align you with higher possibilities. By maintaining an open dialogue with unseen allies, you multiply your manifestation power through combined frequencies of intention. Ancient practice. Light a candle in a quiet space. Feel the presence of those who love you beyond the physical plane. Express gratitude for their continued guidance and support. Let this ritual bridge the worlds, amplifying your co-creative power through the eternal bond of love. Chapter 27. The Quantum of Decision. A village potter named Ida stood before two paths leading to different futures. For months she wavered between pursuing her craft full-time or accepting a position that promised security, but drained her spirit. Each morning, she would wake with fresh resolve, only to dissolve into doubt by sunset. Her energy scattered like leaves in autumn wind, leaving her exhausted and unfulfilled. The universe responds not to contemplation, but to declaration. When you stand at the crossroads of choice, remember that hesitation itself becomes a decision, one that fragments your creative force. Each moment spent in uncertainty diffuses the power that could manifest your desires. Think of water flowing through two channels instead of one. Its force diminishes. Its impact lessens. So too does your energy disperse when split between multiple possibilities. The act of deciding instantly realigns all universal forces toward your chosen direction. It is not the rightness of the choice that matters, but the clarity and commitment with which you make it. In the heart of a bustling city, Morton faced a similar crossroads. His small bookshop teetered on the edge of closure, and voices of reason urged him to close before losses mounted. One morning he woke and made a single unwavering decision. His store would thrive, not through desperate measures or magical thinking, but through absolute alignment with abundance. The moment Morton chose, the universe began its subtle rearrangement. A customer mentioned his shop to a local book club. A neighboring business proposed a collaborative event. An investor walked in, drawn by the window display. Within months, his shop transformed into a cultural hub, each success flowing naturally from that one point of decision. Your power lies not in endless evaluation, but in clear declaration. When you decide with your whole being, you transmit an unambiguous frequency to the field of infinite possibility. The universe doesn't respond to what you wish for or hope might happen. It aligns with what you have chosen without reservation. This is the hidden mechanism behind all manifestation. Decision collapses infinite possibilities into singular purpose. Each choice sends ripples through the quantum field, organizing reality around your point of focus. Hesitation keeps you suspended between worlds. Decision plants your feet firmly in the reality you desire. Practice. Stand in a quiet space where you feel centered and strong. Take 3 deep breaths to clear your mind of doubts. Then, with unwavering conviction, Declare one bold decision aloud. Feel how the very air around you shifts to support your choice. Let your declaration ring through every cell, knowing the universe now moves in concert with your decision. Chapter 28. The Emerald of Gratitude. A small market trader named Lauren understood this principle through her own awakening. Each morning, as she arranged her modest collection of herbs and spices, she whispered gratitude for every customer, every coin, every exchange. At first, her practice seemed simple, a gentle habit born of courtesy. Yet as the seasons turned, she noticed a subtle alchemy taking place. The law works through unwavering acknowledgement. When you give thanks before evidence appears, you align with the frequency of completion. Gratitude becomes the bridge between desire and manifestation, between seed and harvest. Lauren's practice deepened. She began thanking the universe not just for what was, but for what would be. Each thank you carried the weight of certainty. Each blessing affirmed abundance already present. Soon, her small stall began attracting mysterious synchronicities. Merchants offered rare spices at precisely the moment her customers sought them. Abundant harvests arrived when supplies elsewhere grew scarce. In the neighboring village lived Beulah, whose story mirrors this truth from another angle. When drought threatened the region's crops, while others frantically hoarded supplies, Beulah maintained an inner garden of gratitude. She blessed the dry earth, thanked the absent rain, and honored the wisdom of waiting. Her calm certainty created a field of grace around her home. When the rains finally came, they fell first and most generously on her fields. These tales illuminate the deeper mechanics of gratitude. It isn't mere politeness or passive acceptance. It's an active force that confirms your alignment with universal abundance. When you thank the universe for what appears missing, you demonstrate trust in the invisible order of things. This trust becomes the very frequency that draws your desires into form. Your gratitude is love's certainty in motion. It declares to the universe, "I see the perfection unfolding." This declaration carries creative power beyond measure. Practice. As darkness embraces the day, find a quiet moment of solitude. Breathe deeply and allow your mind to settle. Then, with genuine feeling, whisper thanks for 3 blessings that graced your day. Let each expression of gratitude expand within your chest until peace fills your being. This simple ritual aligns your frequency with the eternal flow of abundance. Chapter 29. The Sacred Repetition. In the quiet valleys between ancient mountains, a merchant named Oscar questioned the power of spoken words. Though he had studied the sacred texts and heard tales of mantras transforming lives, doubt lingered in his heart like morning mist. Each day he watched others recite their affirmations with fervent dedication, yet he remained skeptical of their seemingly simple practice. Until one dawn changed everything. Watching the sun's daily ritual of rising, Oscar witnessed nature's own dedication to repetition. The steady rhythm of waves against shore, the persistent cycle of seasons, the faithful blooming of flowers, all spoke of a deeper truth. The universe itself operated through sacred patterns of repetition. This revelation unveils an essential truth. Repetition is not mere mechanical action, but the very pulse of creation itself. When you speak a word consistently, you're not simply making sound. You're establishing a frequency that reshapes the fabric of your reality. Each repetition carves deeper channels in consciousness, like water flowing over stone, until new pathways become inevitable. Consider how a musician masters an instrument, not through sporadic practice, but through devoted repetition until excellence becomes natural. So too does the conscious mind train the subconscious through persistent affirmation. In the bustling marketplace of a coastal town, Sylvie discovered this wisdom through her own journey. Burdened by years of self-doubt, she began a simple practice, speaking words of self-worth each morning as she lit her hearth fire. "I am worthy of abundance and joy," she would say, even when her voice trembled with disbelief. At first, the words felt hollow, like empty vessels waiting to be filled. Yet she persisted, speaking her truth 3 times each dawn, 3 times at midday, and 3 times as twilight painted the sky. Gradually, something shifted, not in the words themselves, but in the space between them. Her voice grew stronger, her spine straighter, her eyes clearer. Within a season, opportunities began appearing, first small ones, then larger ones. People responded differently to her presence, as if sensing an inner light that had always been there but now burned brighter. Her small shop prospered, her relationships deepened, and most importantly, her relationship with herself transformed. The essence of this teaching lies not in the specific words chosen, but in the unwavering commitment to their repetition. Each affirmation serves as a tuning fork, adjusting your vibration to match your desired reality. The subconscious mind, ever faithful to repetition, gradually accepts these new patterns as truth. Sacred practice. Select an affirmation that resonates with your deepest truth. Speak it aloud 3 times at dawn, 3 times when the sun reaches its peak, and 3 times as day surrenders to night. Feel each repetition as a drop of golden light, slowly filling the vessel of your being. Maintain this practice for 40 days without interruption, allowing the power of repetition to carve new channels of possibility in your reality. Chapter 30. The Return to Origin. In ancient desert lands, a woman named Delia spent years pursuing spiritual enlightenment, collecting wisdom like precious gems. Yet something within her remained unfulfilled, a lingering emptiness that no teaching seemed to fill. Through countless meditations and sacred rituals, she searched the external world for what she thought was lost. One ordinary morning, as sunlight streamed through her window, Delia experienced a profound awakening. The light dancing on her hands wasn't separate from the light within her heart. In that moment, she understood. She had been seeking what was eternally present, like waves searching for the ocean they already were. The truth emerges with crystal clarity. Manifestation isn't about becoming something new, but remembering what you've always been. Every desire that stirs within you is the divine essence recognizing itself through you. Your yearnings are not signs of lack, but echoes of completeness, calling you home. This wisdom found its mirror in Wilbur, a simple gardener who tended to his flowers with pure love. Each morning, as he nurtured his garden, he saw how every bloom was an expression of the same life force flowing through him. His desires and their fulfillment were not separate events, but one continuous movement of divine self-recognition. Through Wilbur's story, we witness the ultimate truth. When you align with your divine nature, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. Your wishes are not requests to an external power. but the universe expressing itself through your unique form. Every fulfilled desire is simply love, recognizing love, Creator acknowledging creation. You have never been separate from the source of all manifestation. The path of attraction isn't about reaching for something distant, but awakening to what has always been present. Like a wave remembering it is ocean, your journey home is the recognition of your true nature. Ancient practice. Sit still and declare, I am what I sought. Feel the infinite within. Breathe back. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. As you turn these final chapters, a profound truth crystallizes within your consciousness. The knowledge was never truly forbidden, only awaiting the perfect moment of your spiritual readiness. Like a flower opening its petals to morning light, your understanding now blossoms into lived wisdom. The universe has always spoken through you, every thought rippling across the quantum field, like stones cast upon still waters. Your emotions serve as the artist's palette, painting reality with the hues of your deepest beliefs. Your actions complete this sacred triangle, grounding potential into form through conscious choice. These 30 teachings reveal themselves not as distant mystical concepts, but as remembrance of your own divine nature. You recognize now that manifestation flows not from rigid technique, but from alignment with your eternal essence. The power was never in the seeking, but in the being. In this moment of completion, you understand that every possibility already exists within the infinite field of consciousness. Your role is not to create anew, but to tune your frequency to that which already is, allowing it to emerge through the portal of your awareness. This knowledge asks nothing of you except recognition of what you've always been, a conscious creator, weaving the fabric of reality with each thought, feeling, and deed. Your very existence is an act of continuous manifestation. Your presence, a living prayer. Let these teachings settle not as concepts to be studied, but as truth to be lived. You stand now as both artist and canvas, sculptor and clay, the dreamer and the dream made manifest. The power of attraction flows through you as naturally as breath, for it is not separate from your being, but the very essence of who you are. This moment marks not an ending, but an awakening to your role as consciousness in form, forever transforming thought into reality, spirit into matter, infinite potential into finite expression.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.